Hi, this is Gary Williams again, reaching out to friends and colleagues in the creative industries all over the world, really, just to see how everybody is coping with this coronavirus situation. And I'm so excited that the fella you can see sitting to my side is the great Peter Grant. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Gary. Hello, Karuna. How are you?
Well, the first question is, how are you? And the second question is, where are you?
I'm fine, very healthy, thank you.
Glad to hear it.
And I'm in Spain. I live in Spain now, so I'm up in the mountains. So quite safe, to be honest, because it's very quiet. You know, it's a very rural area. So
I'm glad to hear
right
that.
now I'm in my little music room.
I was going to say, it looks like, so you have, now I'm imagining then that you've got this sort of huge, sort of like a Bond villain's house, you know, with your recording studio overlooking some beautiful lakes for inspiration. Am I right? I bet I'm not far wrong, right?
I thought your imagination could run wild. No, I live on basically it's like it was a fruit farm. You know, these one of these rural houses with loads of land. It's pretty rough going. It's a rough day to day. Got my chickens, got a lot of vegetables growing. It's all that vibe. It's not the posh swimming pool, the big long driveway. No. But this is my favorite room.
For these times right now, to have your own chickens and grow your own vegetables and fruit sounds I'd be perfect.
I know. Well, I do feel really lucky because, to be honest, my life hasn't changed that much. You know, of course it has in the sense of, the worry and what the future holds, and so many people are being affected in such a bad way. But personally, because, you know, I just sit at home and make music. I mean, for the last period of time, I've been more at home anyway than out and about performing, working with recording things. So for me, actually, when Spain became locked down, it was really like I went to the shops, and it for me it was like the world had just ended. I didn't know of this news. I'd not spoken to anybody. I'd not seen anything. So I went to the nearest town. There's police everywhere and people going crazy and panicking. I thought, I didn't really even know what it was about, and I felt very ignorant.
Funny. What happened?
Yeah, but that's what happens when you live out here. And I don't. Of course, I stay up to date with some news, but I don't like have I've got a television, but for other purposes. I don't watch television. Don't watch news. Just because I don't want to be. I find it can, it's a bit much. Can be a bit negative all the time. But then my error because I didn't check. Then. It was a big shock for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the best of times, watching too much news can be alarming and disturbing and frightening, and it makes us feel anxious. But in this time where there is actually lots to feel anxious about, we've got to be really careful of how much of that stuff we let into us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's so much rubbish, almost putting the fear of, into people. I've seen messages going around WhatsApp. It wasn't in English, but I translated it, and it's basically telling everybody that every single person in the world is going to get coronavirus. So that basically means that all your grandmas and granddads, all your little ones are going to die. I mean, it was just ridiculous. You think I know that's not coming from the BBC, but it all kinds of sits in the same world, doesn't it? Where it's just constant fear information. It's not. Yeah. I don't know if it's.
I mean, social media. So, I mean, do you kind of also limit your time on social media, because that's even worse than the TV, isn't it? In that respect.
It is worse, but I haven't been on social media for about 6 years. So but it's in this time, which is something. I've really become a bit of a hermit up in the mountains. But social media, I'm now using it. It was funny because this whole thing just seemed to raise social media like to another level, in a nicer way to me. Before, again, I found it to be full of rubbish. But now there's more people reaching out genuinely to be caring. Maybe you haven't spoken to them for a long time or something. And for that reason, I love it. And it's been great for that. But I do limit it because, and I don't so much go through the feeds unless it's, things I'm interested in or really want to look at. The news stuff about the corona thing, I just don't really get too involved in it.
So you, I mean, as many people watching this will remember, and I certainly remember your sort of breakthrough album, New Vintage. I think, was that was it 2006 or something like that? Mid, you kind of, did you know?
It's, I just try to work out how old I am.
I stopped doing that a
It'll
long
be
time ago.
about, yeah, man, it's 14 coming up 15 years ago. Can you believe that? Wow.
So I remember first hearing this and being so taken with it. And actually, I listened, knowing that we were going to talk today, I listened to some of the tracks again the other day. Peter, I mean, not to just sort of blow smoke at your ass, but that your voice, I mean, you must have been maybe 19 or 20 then, and your voice is in so good, like world class. We all listen to, you know, in our business, we listen to a lot of music, and of course we listen to our peers or people that are doing similar stuff. And of course we listen critically as well. And, you know, we hear a lot of stuff. And I have to say, for me, it's rare, of course it's rare that I ever hear any sort of, you know, homegrown singer or anybody who's not one of the classic, you know, the old school, you know, the Sinatras, from anybody from sort of from the 50s and so on. It's rare that I hear anybody singing the Great American Songbook that sounds like they have all that style and class and control of somebody from who was a contemporary of those classic singers. And you on that album had that completely. I mean, it sounds. I'm paying you too many compliments now, but I was just listening to it the other day. It was so good. You know, it says outstanding. And I mean, that sort of launched everything for you. And what I'm interested in, as one singer to another, is over the years, of course, our voices change and they mature. Mm. How do you think your voice has changed in the last 15 years?
Well, it changed a lot. I think mostly it just, when I was young, it was strange for me because I seemed to have like a more grown-up voice. Like that first album, I was 17 when it was recorded, 18 when it went out. Wow. And from around 14, 15 years old, when my voice broke, it just sort of sounded a bit older than it should be. And so I think as I'm getting, even though I'm just I'm 33 now, and I sound about 80. No, it's matured in a sense that I think it's grown into its own. The thing I dislike about it when I was young was, you know, it's very difficult for an 18-year-old to deliver those songs and with the tone and everything when you just really haven't experienced life. And I think for me, it's more the experience in life that's enhanced the voice, because now I think it just sounds, to me anyway, more meaningful. It is older, you know, I'm a grown-up man now, so it sounds a bit more mature and probably matches myself more than it ever did. You know?
Did you ever have, or are you having any kind of voice training or vocal coaching or anything like that?
No, but it's something I would really, well, over the years, I've had a few sort of one-off lessons. When I was a teenager, there's a guy called Tony Wayne, who's a phenomenal singer. He's a guy from Leeds, my home city. And as a teenager, he gave me a few pointers that really, you know, warm-ups. But he was one of the guys that didn't want to change my voice. He just wanted to teach me how to look after it. And that was, I really liked that, because a few other people I'd gone to as a child, and it felt a bit like a factory. You know, you were just going to come out sounding the same, and it wasn't for me. When I got signed, they also sent me to, I forgot her name, but she's phenomenal. One of these big, incredible, well-known teachers. And she was also great and came from the angle that she didn't want to change her voice, but she used things like yoga and stretches to try and relax the voice. That was cool. That's about it. My dad was a singer, so now he's a phenomenal singer, my father, even today at 84 years old. But he hasn't got a clue what he's doing. So I used to think he was teaching me to sing by basically pushing me in a nice way. But you know, I'm a bit like him, where I don't really know what I'm doing here. It's just the way it is. I'd like to know what I'm doing, and as I'm getting older, and of course we all want to look after it, it's our tool and our work as well. I definitely would be interested. How about you? Do you do training? Are you?
I'm just like you. I was never trained, didn't know what I was doing, knew that I was just lucky that I could just do it. But if anybody over the years said, "Oh, can you teach me how to sing?" I had to say no, because I haven't got a clue how to, even though that sounded stupid. I just could do it. But it was only, I think, maybe coming up to a couple of years ago that I started having singing lessons. And the reason I started having lessons is because I was worried my voice was getting quite tired more quickly than it should. If I was doing a few gigs, I mean, hard gigs, but still, the next day my voice would be so tired. And I was worried. I mean, I'm 50 this year and getting older, and I thought I still want to be able to sing well, in when I'm 70. And I need to know what's going on so I can take care of it. So I started having singing lessons, and honestly, Peter, for me, it's been an absolute revelation, because it actually has reinvigorated my love of singing, because it's made me understand what I'm doing better, what I'm trying, and it's made me understand how I can achieve things I want to achieve. So I can sing higher or get certain sounds, and the changes are very subtle. But the guy that I'm working with, Richard Holton, who I've actually done one of these interviews with, I cannot recommend him enough. I love working with him. The results are so immediate, and it's so exciting to be able to sing songs which I never thought I could sing.
Wow, that's great. That's good to hear.
So I'm going to be giving you his number after this.
Awesome, yeah. So I'll be getting in touch, because I think
you had a lot of success very early on in your career. When you look back now, do you think? And I don't know. I haven't sort of researched. I don't know the ins and outs. But I mean, when you look back, were you treated well? Was the industry good to you? Were the people around you good, or do you feel that there was a little bit of exploitation, or you were let down a little bit? I mean, when you look back now, how do you feel about that?
It's really difficult to answer that clearly, because there's such a journey over the last, say, 10, 15 years of my life. I think, well, for starters, that the album that kicked it off for me would never have happened if the people that got involved with me, Don Reedman and Universal Records, they're big business people, and I think they did look after me. They did care for me, and I was lucky, because I've got a lot of friends in the business who it wasn't that way. On the one thing I would say, looking now, going all the way back, it became, in the last years, it's become very evident to me that I love music. I can't live without it, but I hate this business. I mean, I really do. I don't, of course, no names or anything, but I just find this is a business full of dangling carrots,
Dangling carrots.
People just throwing opportunities or chances. Dangling carrots, as in, come over here and do this, and then we're going to get there, and we'll build to there, and nothing ever comes of it. And I think when you're young, especially, it's really difficult. I burnt out, man. I lost it. That's kind of what brought me here. A lot of people think I just stopped singing or something. I never did. As you know, I've been doing some ships over the years. Love that, and that's been great for me. Just going out. It's keeping me doing what I love, but it wasn't like the schedule where you've got to go on tour, and now you've got to record an album, now you've got to do a TV schedule and a radio schedule and all this stuff, and as well, eliminating a lot of idiots, So for me, that's part of the reason I'm here, because I just wanted to chill out and get away from madness. And as well, for me, there's so much money, not my money, and not that I earned so much money, but I mean, some of the projects I worked on, there was so much money involved. And I think when money's involved, people change, people get, they're not themselves. They become very hardcore business people. And for sure, I'm not a hardcore businessman. I'm a musician, I'm a singer, that's what I do. And it became difficult. So it's not the people, I must say the people that were working immediately with me looked after me very well, you know, and it was, they certainly, definitely, they had my best interest at heart.
Has your definition of success changed over the years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's another reason I'm in Spain in the mountains, Gary, because I remember sitting, you know, as a young, really young guy thinking, well, if you ever made it and you had money and things, what would you do? And I'd be like, well, I'd like to be able to get to the beach quite easily. Don't need to live on the beach, but I'd like to be in a warmer climate, blah, blah, blah. I like an easy going. So I just went and did what I would have done if I'd have made it, but I didn't have a penny. You know, that's the definition for me. I don't think we need all the money to make our dreams come true. I think you just got to do it, and it's possible. Definitely changed for me. It used to be about selling millions of records and you know, buying my mum and dad a massive house, and I want to buy all my band amazing houses and cars, and we're going to record in Abbey Road every week. And yeah, well, forget that. That's just total dream world, isn't it? And not a very healthy dream to chase, you know.
There's a great phrase that I heard. What is it? You spend your life climbing the mountain of shit to pluck the single red rose, and when you get there, you realise you've lost your sense of smell. Something like that. I mean, it is true. But the thing, you have to.
Good one.
I think that the only way you can really understand what is important and what's not important is by going through that journey. I don't think if somebody had told you that when you were 20 years old, 25 years old, I don't think you could have got it. I think you had to go through what you went through to mature and get the sort of wisdom that you've accrued over the years now.
Yeah, I think it's a journey. Every man in any world, any, you know, work in life, it doesn't matter, does it? But I think you're totally right. You have to go through these ups and downs and to find your place, you know.
You have this beautiful long hair now, which I do not have this, and but this is interesting because, you know, when I was started singing, you know, in my early 20s, I had hair, and it was in the normal sort of, you know, traditional, like smart young man style. And when I started losing my hair, and I was terrified because I thought, when I've got no hair, I'm not going to fit the sort of, you know, Michael Bublé, well, he wasn't around then, but, you know, the sort of Harry Connick Jr., this sort of cool crooner kind of, I didn't think I was going to fit. And I thought, I'm not going to get any work. I was convinced that nobody would book me because I didn't look like the way I was supposed to look. Now you've gone the other way. And I'm wondering, was this a conscious kind of reaction to think, I'm not going to fit within the, you know, the sort of cookie cutter kind of crooner image that people expect from me? Or was it just simply you just wanted to grow your hair?
Yeah, I just wanted to grow my hair, really. Just fancied it.
But on the other hand, it does work. Philosophical reasons.
Yeah, there is none. I got to be honest, I do like it, you know, when you get to go out on stage and you've got your nice suit on and they think you're going to be doing Beach Boys songs or something. It's kind of, it works for that. And as well, for me, the image of the sort of thing we do, I just feel like it. What I find is if you put a guy in a tuxedo and, you know, round the piano in a cocktail bar and try and sell that to somebody who's listening to, I don't know, whatever's in the charts right now that are young and cool and groovy and hip, the image of it, I'm not sure gets them in. But if they hear the music in the right scenario, I think they dig it. And I think big band music and going forward should become a little bit more, not casual, because of course it's performance and it should always be smart and have an image to it, but just a little bit looser, you know, because how many black suits do we need? You know,
yeah. Well, I'm going to need at least one more when this is over, because before I go to bed, I have a whole packet of chocolate hobnobs every night, and it's not. I'm definitely going to need. Tell me, what kind of music are you making these days?
Well, so things to be coming out in the near future, I hope. I recorded an album a while back with a great bunch of musicians. It was never meant to be an album, really. I just wanted to do something in the studio. So I went over back to England and went to the Chairworks, put a great band, 5 horns, rhythm section in a studio for 48 hours, and we recorded 23 songs.
Yeah, fantastic.
It was amazing. It was like a marathon. And bless the guys, they really, I don't think any of us had been in that situation before. Because we can't add extra hours on our days. We were just in, out, do it. And it came out a lot better than I thought. So a selection of those tracks are going to go out just as a live album. And there's some nice footage to go with that. I've got an album I'm working on now, which is going to be more of my, like the serious release, if you like, which again, it just came out of nowhere. I was working for a company that I do some session recording for, and I do some production work for them. And they'd come to me with, I can't tell you what the concept is because it'll give it all away. They came to me with a concept which wasn't going to be using my name, but I really loved what the ideas they were bringing. So I was like, well, we had the conversation, and that's the way it's going to go. Later, hopefully by the summer, or the end of the summer, we'll be putting that album out, and it's going to be what the people who bought New Vintage want.
Okay.
It's
so. I mean, are you writing lots of your own? So the stuff that you're working on now, is it your own material? Is it covers, or is it covers from a different decade? Or are you still sort of generally sticking with, the Great American Songbook kind of repertoire?
Covers from a different decade on this one, but very much within the easy listening, jazz, smooth sense. And they are covers, but I do a lot of writing. I just feel that the people that I've gotten as an existing audience much prefer me to be doing the covers and the crooner thing than the original music. And I get that, because that's the way it was built and grown, and that's what my career became. But I'm writing. I've produced as well. I've done an album actually for my missus, which will be coming out on August the 10th. And that's totally instrumental, very cinematic sounding. Yes, Ina Tolstova. You got to check it out, inatolstova.com.
Yeah, she's amazing.
yeah, you guys linked up, didn't you?
Yeah,
some time back.
We did. She's one of the nicest people I met, and I was so happy when I found out that you two were getting married, or you just got married, I think, when I saw her last. Yeah. But listen, all of that chat was just really for my own curiosity, because what we should be talking about is the coronavirus.
That's right. So, I was thinking we're having a great time here, but
it's just me just being nosy.
Touching on the subject.
So, is your wife with you now?
That's great. Yeah, she's probably she's somewhere. She's probably out with the dog.
So that's great that you're together, at least for this. And do you know? I mean, you were born in Leeds. You've obviously, I assume, still got family there. Are you keeping in daily contact with them? And how? I mean, I suppose their experience of this, being in Leeds in the UK, is very different to yours, being in the hills in Spain.
Totally. My parents are still in Leeds. And as I mentioned, my father's 84, so he's of that age group. They're totally housebound. Can't be going. So my mum, in fact, I think hasn't the rules changed now that because of my father, my mother's obviously younger, but she also cannot leave the house. And I think their shopping's being delivered, so they're not even like when I go to the supermarket now. It's quite exciting. I usually hate supermarket shopping, but it's, I love the bit before you go in when you get to feel like a bank robber. You put your mask on, and you get your gloves on. I'm like, this feels so criminal, but big difference. Yeah.
What is your feeling about how long this thing's going to go on for? I mean, Spain's had it bad, and but seems to be getting slightly better now.
It does, yeah. I don't really know how it's going on in the big cities. For me, the town that I go to for my supermarket and petrol or things like that, it seems to have got a lot more relaxed. They have extended our lockdown, I think towards the end of April, but I don't see that happening. I think this could go on for months in Spain. And I kind of think it should, because if they don't, if they allow, you know what Spain's like, all them Spanish, they're in the bars at 6 a.m, man, 7 a.m, you know, the workers, everybody will be back out and socializing and having fun. And you just think, too dangerous, can't do it.
Yeah. Have you actually lost any work because of it then? Or are you lucky in that there was nothing much in the diary as far as gigs were concerned?
Yeah, a couple of cruises, you know, gone. And there's a few I've got later in the year that I don't know at this moment in time whether they'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't have anything, you know, scheduled on land. The annoying thing for me was that the album that I'm talking about, this new album, more the artist record, I'm supposed to be there now recording it with the guys. So now we're doing it at distance, which is fine. We can still carry on, but it's not quite the same. It would be nice to be in the same room working on this stuff.
So you
together.
mean that you're sort of doing it in bits? You're able, from the studio where you're sitting now, you're able to record your vocals and send that off and
Yeah.
mix together somewhere else?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And we're going to carry on that way until we get more news. Of course, if things, mind you, to be honest, I don't think I'm going to be getting on a plane, even if they say I can. I think we'll just stick to the way it is.
Yeah. So if people want to follow you and see more, read more about these new projects and when they're coming out, what's the best way for people to see what you're up to?
Well, I'm back on Facebook. And enjoying it, actually. Okay, on Instagram, good. I'm loving it. I was singing Indian yesterday.
You were singing Indian?
Indian. So I love Indian music, and I've gone on Instagram and I'm following incredible Indian singers. They're amazing. So I'm liking and I'm commenting and I'm really enjoying it. And one guy had done this breathing practice technique. So I liked it and I commented it. And then he followed me and then messaged me saying, you know, will you try it? And I thought he was joking, and then I tried it, and oh god, it took me hours to get my tongue around it. It's on Instagram anyway, but yeah, doing all kinds of great. So Instagram, Facebook, or petergrantmusic.com.
So petergrantmusic.com is the website, and on Instagram, can you remember what's the address on Instagram and Facebook?
It's the same, Peter Grant Music, and also on Facebook.
Easy peasy. Peter, thank you so much. It's been really, really great to chat to you and find out a bit more about what makes you tick, and I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank you very much, Gary, and thanks for this chat. It's cool.
Pleasure.
I like what you're doing. Keep it
up, man. Thank you very much. I like what you're doing as well. One day we'll do a duet. That's what we should do next. When all this is over,
should.
I will come and visit you in the hills of Spain.
Please do. Always welcome. Let's do it.